Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Ruza Darling. If you happen to be new here, my name is Tracy and I'm a part-time reseller on the platform Poshmark and here on YouTube. On my channel, I love doing thrift hauls, thrifting videos, mystery box unboxings, jewelry unboxings and sales, and what sold videos. And that's what we have today, is a what sold video for you friends. I am leaving on Friday for a 2-week vacation. So I just want to let everybody know that for the next 3 Thursdays, I will not have videos. I will be posting videos on Sundays, but I'm going to enjoy some downtime, and I am pre-recording these videos to have them ready to rock and roll. And I just don't want to have any stress before I'm getting ready to go on vacation and on vacation. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know that. But today's video is a what sold video. It is a July recap of my sales. I had a lot of fast flips and I sold so many shoes in July. You'd think that that's all I sold was shoes. Just amazing amount, which is great. I appreciate them going out the door because they are a little bit harder to store. I do have a fan going. If you see my hair blowing in the wind, it's because it's hot up here and I need the fan. So I am going to show you about half of my sales for the month of July. My best sales, a bunch of sales that are examples of thread-up items that I get in these mystery boxes that I still list and make a little bit of a profit on. I don't know if I had any fails. Well, I had fails, I should say. Not fails, but sales that did not profit very much, but I don't know if I put them on the list or not. We'll have to see here. But I'm pretty happy with the amount of sales I got here in July. I'm kind of worried about August because the second half of August, my Poshmark closet will be in vacation mode. So I'm happy with what I got here in July. So anyways, let's just get to it, right? Quit your yapping, Tracy. Okay. Oh, and I will pop up a picture of the item that sold. And when I say my earnings on that item, that is minus the platform fees and my cost of goods. First thing was this sterling silver Hamza hand necklace. I got this in a thread up 15-piece mixed jewelry bag. The pendant was sterling silver, but the chain was not. But my average cost of goods on jewelry from them bags is right around $5. This one sold for $20, making my earnings $11. Next is a fun piece. If you've been here a while, you know I like selling plush. This I just got this summer at a community-wide garage sale. It was the Bob's Burgers Tina Belcher plush that was new with tags. I paid $2 for her. She sold very quickly for $18, making my earnings $12.40. I like selling plush. I can make money off of it, sometimes not very much, but when you can get them for 25, 50 cents and you can make over $10, I think that's a great return. Next is the first pair of shoes that came out of a thread-up box. These have been listed a while. They were the Rainbow Heart Faux Patent Leather Heels by Royal Monk. My average cost of goods on them shoes was $4.50. They sold for $18, making my earnings $9.90. So there's one of them that I wasn't excited to list them, but I did to get my money back on what I spent on them, and they sold after time. They sold. Another pair of shoes from a thread-up box. Another pair I wasn't excited to list. These were the Cushionaire suede slingback clogs that I paid $4.50 for. They sold for $17, making my earnings $9.10. Another ThredUp item, this came out of a denim box. These were the Ask, I think that's how you say it, Ask, A-S-K-K, New York. These were the Modella Distressed Flare jeans that I paid $2.25 for. They sold for $30, making my earnings $21.75. I'm sure they've been listed a while because I haven't gotten a denim box in a really long time. I stopped buying them. Next is an example of a piece of something that I like to sell, things like this, hard goods. It was a Ray Dunn grandkids picture frame. I like selling hard goods. I am drawn to hard goods at garage sales. So if I can store it and I like it, I'm going to pick it up. But I paid $1 for this picture frame. It sold for $10, making my earnings $6.05. But I just got this. It sold really quickly. Next is a piece that used to be mine. I did a decluttering and I just didn't wear this hat, so I knew that it would have a little bit of value. It was in rough condition. It was an Ed Hardy vintage Love Kills Slowly trucker hat. The mesh on it was actually really thinned out. It had snags. It had missing like bling on it, but I knew it would sell. It sold for $20 with my earnings being $16. If it was in better condition, it would have sold for more. Next is a piece I picked up at a garage sale for $1. It was this Ralph Lauren black floral V-neck dress that sold for $26 with my earnings being $19.80. Next is another piece I just got here garage sailing this summer. I picked up a box of Fiesta Wear coffee mugs. There was sets of 2 in all different colors, and I listed them in their individual colors. I paid $1 each for these. These were just 2 yellow coffee mugs. They sold for $15, making my earnings $10. Next is some more jewelry. This lot of 27 necklaces, I had went to a garage sale and offered a lady to buy all of her jewelry, and it was all necklaces, all boho necklaces. And she only charged me $20. And I did a sale here on YouTube with them, and that was like one of my first sales, and it didn't go well. So I've listed a bunch on Poshmark and sold a bunch. And I just took all of these and put them into a lot, and they're all wearable. But it was 27 necklaces, and they sold for $35 with my earnings being $28. So that paid for my $20 initial purchase. So I'm happy with that, and somebody got a lot of boho necklaces. Next is another pair of shoes, and these were mine that went when I decluttered. They were a pair of Just Fab Doja tall black heeled boots. They sold for $15 with my earnings being $12. Next is my best sale of the month, and these sold very, very quickly. It's a pair of earrings that I got in a ThredUp 15-piece box. I didn't know what they were until after I did the video, but I was extremely happy with them. But they were John Hardy Buddha belly, sterling and 18 karat gold earrings that I paid $5 for. They sold for $120 with my earnings being $91. So it's kind of why I'm a little bit addicted to this jewelry thing, you guys. Next, another item that sold really quickly. Just picked it up this summer. It was this Gund pink pig plush, adorable. I don't see pig plush very often, and he was in really nice condition, so I had to grab him for $1. He sold for $20, making my earnings $15. Another piece to sell very quickly. It didn't sell for a ton because it had a little bit of condition issues, but it was this Myra calf hair canvas and leather tote bag that I paid $1 for. It sold on an offer of $18, making my earnings $13.40. Next, if you've been here a while, you know I love the vintage toys. These were a pair of vintage 80s Cabbage Patch Kids shoes and socks. socks. That's it. Just the shoes and socks. I paid like 25 cents for these at a church basement sale. They had discoloration. They're from the 80s. They're old. They sold for $15 with my earnings being $11.75. Next is some more of them boho necklaces that I got in that big lot. This was a stack I put together, and I titled these 4 necklaces, Mixed Metal Fairy Goblin Cord Layering Stack of 4 necklaces. They sold for $20, making my earnings $16. Next is a maxi skirt, a vintage, well, maybe it wasn't vintage. I think I listed it as vintage style. But it was by the brand Fleurs by Elegant Editions. It was this blue floral boho chic festival resort maxi skirt that I paid $1 for. It sold for $23, making my earnings $17.40. Another vintage toy that sold super quick. These were the vintage 1995 McDonald's Halloween what am I going to be dress up figures. Paid 25 cents for them. They sold for $21, making my earnings $16.55. Next is a piece that my sister-in-law gave me. She goes through and is decluttering as well and gives me some items that she thinks I can sell. And I'm very happy and thankful for that. But this was a Starbucks Been There series coffee mug. It was the Tennessee one. It sold for $20, making my earnings $16. Next is a J. Jill white eyelet embroidered V-neck top that I paid $2 for from the same lady of all the boho necklaces. This one sold for $20, making my earnings $14. And I've got a bunch of shirts from her, and like most of them have sold already. So next, another piece to sell pretty quickly. It was a Patagonia women's better sweater vest that I paid $5 for. It sold for $25, making my earnings $15. Next, this one's pretty cool. And I can't remember what reseller YouTuber I learned this from, but flocked Christmas ornaments. And I went to this garage sale and there was a box of all these just little bitty ornaments. I think they were 25 cents a piece. And I came across this one, and it was this little white flocked cat. It even had its original tags yet. I think, let me see, I wrote it down. Wagner Kunstlerschutz, something like that, from West Germany. This little cat ornament was just the tiniest little thing. It sold for $21, with my earnings being $16.55. Another pair of shoes. These ones I picked up at a garage sale because they were in really nice condition, almost brand new condition. They were Skechers leather slip-on loafers that I paid $2 for. They sold for $25, with my earnings being $18. Next is another Tennessee Starbucks mug that my sister-in-law gave me. It was crazy. The first one sold, and like the next day, the other one sold. I was like, what is going on here? But this one sold for a little bit more. This one sold for $23, making my earnings $18.40. So thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate it. I owe you lunch. Next is a piece I got in a ThredUp fun box. It was this New It Tags body glove swimsuit top. Average cost is around $5. It sold for $20, making my earnings $11. I'm just happy it sold. Next, another ThredUp pair of shoes. These were the red Minnetonka Thunderbird moccasins that I paid $4.25 for those. They sold for $22, with my earnings being $13.35. Next is, I have a gentleman that gifts me a bunch of things that he's cleaning out of his mother's home. These were a set of vintage pink depression glass candlestick holders. So no money into them. They sold for $25, making my earnings $20. Another pair of thread-up shoes. These were the Hoka Restore Unisex Recovery Slip-On shoes. $4.25 for them. They sold for $70, making my earnings $51.75. Another thread-up pair of shoes. These actually came out of the name brand shoebox, so my cost of goods is a little bit higher on these. Around $12, I believe, for these. But these were the Rothy's The Point Red Flats. They sold for $34, with my earnings being $15.20. Next is a really cool piece. Me and my youngest daughter were thrifting one day. She pointed this out to me. I had passed it right up and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I guess I better grab it. I didn't even look at it. She spotted it. But it was this vintage 90s pink Betty Boop sweatshirt that I paid $3 for. It sold for $68, with my earnings being $51.40. Very, very good eye my youngest daughter has. Next is another piece from a fun thread-up fun box. This was the vintage Brutalist brass belt, leather belt, brass buckle, leather belt. Average cost of good is $5. It sold for $30, making my earnings $19. Another pair of thread-up shoes out of that name brand shoebox. This was the other pair of Rothy's. These were the loafer flats in the color mocha. $12. These ones sold for $42, with my earnings being $21.60. Next, another item from my home that I decluttered. These were a set of 2 vintage large Peanuts Snoopy and Woodstock glasses. They were really big around and quite tall. Took up a lot of room up in the cupboard. They were good for a glass of ice water though. Those sold for $20, with my earnings being $16. Next is a jewelry piece. This one, I believe I got in a jewelry jar. It was the Kendra Scott Elton 14 karat gold plated cuff. Average cost of that was probably around $1. It sold for $24, with my earnings being $18.20. Another fast flip, another hard goods. This is stuff that just catches my eye that I think are cool vintage pieces. And if I think they're cool, I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to try and sell them. And it was only 25 cents. But it was this vintage tile trivet. It was the Zodiac one. It sold for $19, with my earnings being $14.95. Another pair of shoes. These were mine. They were by the brand Bamboo. They were faux suede slingback wedges that I never wore, I don't think. They sold for $15, with my earnings being $12. Another piece that was given to me, it was this vintage 1983 Teleflora enameled strawberry colander. I just thought it was cool. It sold for $13, with my earnings being $10.05. Free items, free $10 bills, you guys. Another jewelry piece. These were new on the card. Anthropologie gold tone anchor earrings. They came out of a thread-up 15 piece. They sold for $19, with my earnings being $10.20. Another pair of shoes. I believe I picked these up at the church sale for $1. I picked them up because of the style. They were a pair of Clark's leather witchy black ankle boots. They just looked witchy to me. They sold for $18, making my earnings $13.40. Another pair of shoes. These I picked up at a garage sale for $1. They were Crocs Neria Pro 2 work clogs in a tie-dye print. They sold for $21, with my earnings being $15.80. Another pair of shoes that I picked up at the garage sales this summer for $5. They were the Doc Martens Industrial Steel Toe Safety Shoes. They sold for $80, making my earnings $59. Another pair of shoes. These I got from ThredUp a long time ago, and they were a super small size. I think they were a 5.5, 5.5 or 6. I can't remember. But they were Michael Kors suede slingback peep toe heels that I paid $5 for. They sold for $20, with my earnings being $11. Another pair of shoes from ThredUp. These costed me $5.50. They were the Zara black leather heels, and the heels were clear lucite. Pretty interesting pair of shoes. They sold for $34, making my earnings $21.70. And my very last item I'm going to share with you, friends, is another jewelry piece out of a ThredUp 15-piece mixed jewelry bag. It was the Henry Bandel Safari Chic Tiger Eye Pendant Necklace. $5 I paid for that. It sold for $33, making my earnings $21.40. So there you go. What do you think of my sales for July? That's only half of them, by the way. I think I did really well for selling. This is just Poshmark sales. I don't sell on eBay, Mercari, Depop, none of them. These are just for Poshmark. And I think that's pretty good. I only do 2 to 5 listings a day. I share my closet twice a day. And that's it. And I think that's not bad for a part-time reseller, I think. What do you think? You'll have to let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your quality time with me today. And we'll see you when I'm done with vacation. Everybody have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and hype. Bye. Catch you on the flip side.